Here's a site you haven't seen before, because it's Maynooth University in the Division 1 Electric Ireland League Final. First time ever that they have reached this point of the competition. Quite an achievement for them. They haven't even been in that many Sigersons down the years, so there's something happening in Maynooth, and you see them out there in those very nice, attractive green jerseys as well. They are here after a really tough campaign. They've come through 3 games by just a point, but it shows of an awful lot of heart. They were trying to tell me today that we've no chance, and UCD are the big favourites, and sure, they're hot favourites and we have no chance. But if you come through tough games like that, there's something. You've got something there, and they won the Freshers this time last year as well. So we'll go through the teams in a minute. UCD are down to the left. The officials are out there. David Goff is out there, the referee, the All-Ireland referee from 2019. From Meath, of course, and talking of Meath, I've Kieran Flynn with me as well, the PRO for Higher Education. Kieran, good to have you with us. What a perfect evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jerome. The weather is absolutely immaculate. We're just saying it's just rolling into December here, and it's pretty much autumnal, or even, dare I say, kind of summer nearly some of the days we've had. But it's
well, there's no wind, no rain. Was a little bit earlier on. I hope not tempting fate, but you can't wait for November to end, because you're going to get rid of the tash as well tomorrow, yeah?
Absolutely. I think it's been a bit of a blight on the base, but thankfully we've myself and a few lads in the G have raised a bit of money for the charity, so it's a nice thing to do. But I said it's coming. December is coming fast, thank God, and thankfully the football is just heating up maybe as well.
Right, let's look at the teams, because they are out there warming up, but let's look at the lineups here, and let's start with UCD. They are indeed the favourites, so we'll get it on the screen there. The manager, John Devley, of course, who's a former Maynooth manager. He was there when they were in the Sigerson final in 2012. So you have Gary O'Rourke in goals. He's actually, I think, going to be captaining the team, and they're going to call the captains in a minute. He's the vice captain, but the captain of the team is injured. He's got a bit of a knock, and that is actually Kieran Kennedy from Ballybowden St Enda's. So we think Gary O'Rourke from Ballyhaise and Cavan is going to captain the team from goals there, and his dad, Kieran was telling me, is Mark O'Rourke, who's the Cavan County Board Vice Chair. Looking at the rest of the team there, Brian Cox is from Sligo. I'll give you the counties actually. I'll just go through them quickly and give you their counties. James Moran, Longford, Malachy Stone, Wicklow. Real spread of counties, particularly in the UCD team. Tom Brown is Naas in Kildare. Patrick O'Keane is from St Patrick's in Wicklow. Cormac Egan is Tullamore in Offaly. And then at number 8 you have Senan Forker from Castleknock, and you have Diarmid Moriarty, who's a Meath man, and so is Sean Coffey. They're both Meath men. They both, as Kieran was also telling me, they made their debuts in Colin O'Rourke's first game at the weekend. 11 is Dara Craig from Boyle in Roscommon. Pierce Rutledge is 12 from Knockmore in Mayo. Fiacre Clifford, well, he's a Kerry man with a name like that, he's from Lawn Rangers. And 14 is Ben O'Carroll from St Bridget's in Roscommon. And 15 is Davy Garland, interesting man as well, from Donamoyne in Monaghan. 2020 Player of the Year, Electric Ireland Colleges, and he was a DCU winner in the Sigerson that year as well. So that's UCD. Any thoughts on that one, Kieran, before I move on to Maynooth?
Yeah, well, Garland, a corner forward, absolutely lit up the Sigerson in 2020. He was the Player of the Year. He put in some absolute stellar performances. He's such a nifty forward, so if he has any like that left in the tank, we really are in for a great sight today. Moriarty for Meath, saw him there. He actually won an under-20 championship with his independent team, Corral St Vincent's, and there's a video going around local social media. He scored a sideline kick as well, so he's a good free taker. He'll be well able to stick them over, so 2 interesting forwards there. Absolutely.
We've moved on to the Maynooth team there. Davy Burke, Roscommon manager, is the manager of this team. Cian Burke in goals, no relation to Davy. He's from Clane in Kildare. Kieran McCarrick is from Dunshaughlin. Jack Quinn is Leixlip in Kildare. Aaron Brazil, I think it is from Shannonbridge in Offaly. He's the vice captain, but I think he'll captain the team on the pitch tonight, because their captain is also injured, and that is Kieran Dwyer, who's wearing number 20. John Lawler is from Eadstown in Kildare. Colin Walsh at 6 from Oran Roscommon. 7 is Colm Harnett from Sarsfields in Kildare. Midfield you have 2 Daras, Dara Lyons from St James in Wexford, and Dara Warnock from Castleknock in Dublin. 10 is Craig Lennon from St Mocha's in Louth. Rory Kinsella, number 11, we'll come back to him, he's Dunshaughlin. 12 is Dara Walsh from Oran and Roscommon, same as number 6. And they're not related, are they, by the way? Maybe they're both Walshes from the same club, maybe they are. Colin and Dara at 6 and 12. You can tell us, by the way, on the live chat on the YouTube page it's free to watch on there, and it's free to leave a comment as well. So if you know if they're related, let me know, or anything else, or tell us where you're watching the game from tonight. 13 is Shane O'Sullivan from Clane and Kildare, same club as the goalkeeper. Donald Conlon from Giva and Sligo is at 14, and Paddy McDermott from Naas Kildare is at 15. So a few lads from the same club on either side, because he's Kildare, he's Naas, that's Paddy McDermott, and Tom Brown on the other side, number 5, he is also from the same club. So a little bit of that. But I want to go back to Rory Kinsella. We saw him in the Freshers last year and he was brilliant. He's still there, and you were telling me he's the best young player in Meath. He's got that award, and he's got a Leinster final on Saturday. Cracking player.
Definitely, he reminds a lot of people in Meath of maybe some of the great characters of like of Trevor Giles, so that's a big way to have on a youngster. He just has something about him. There's a bit of a flair that maybe other players don't take on, some of the things he attempts. He got the Young Player of the Year award there during the week, and his club are in the intermediate club final, and he really is an excellent player. A lot of people in Meath are hoping that he'll progress onto the senior team.
You mean you?
Well, yeah, absolutely, definitely.
We have an answer already. That's what I love about these live chats and things like that. Aaron Convey says, yeah, they are brothers, the two Walshes. Colin Walsh at number 6 for Maynooth, and 12 Dara Walsh. You don't often get that at college level, two brothers being at the same college together, because obviously they're at least a year or so apart usually, but two brothers there, according to Aaron. So those are the messages, but as I say, feel free to let us know where you're watching the game from. I hope you're going to enjoy the game tonight. The setting's perfect, the pitch is fantastic, the lights are great, no wind or rain to talk of. Touch wood, I'm touching the fence in front of me here so far, nearly ready for the start. I don't think the captains have been in, or if they have, the toss doesn't really matter, but really looking forward to the start of this one. UCD and their, of course, traditional and famous light blue out there, and it's, I don't know, it's just great to have colleges football back properly, isn't it? Even I know it's been back a while, but it's still great.
But to have kind of this level of football at this time of the year, it's kind of an off season for many people, and for supporters at home able to watch our stream tonight, there's not really a better product in Gaelic games midweek at this time of the year. So like, it's kind of thing you got to tell your friends and family that there's games on, and of course in January you'll be back in so many of the Sigerson and Fitzgibbon games, and personally I know we're involved in this a long time. They're the best games to watch in that time of the year. They really replicate as close to the Ireland finals you're going to get, so I love this sector of the Gaelic.
There's nothing else on tonight, only that something out in the Middle East is on apparently.
But Eurovision, is it?
Yeah, but sure. Why would you be watching that when you've got a game like this here? But you're right, in Ireland, like there's nothing else on Gaelic games wise tonight, and we're seeing the cream of the two colleges here, and these guys have got to the final, and they've really worked to get here, and it's so interesting that they have Maynooth in the final for the first time ever. They're a new up and coming college at that level, really, to get to the final. They were in the Freshers final last year. Look, there's a change already. I'm seeing number 19 for Maynooth out in the middle of the field. That's Dylan Kavanagh from Rhodes and Offaly, so he's out there. I'll let you watch those other changes or see if you spot anything else there, Kieran Flynn, while I get on with describing the action. And Maynooth get the ball right away, and that's Paddy McDermott wearing 15, but obviously not playing in the corner, so maybe he's a playmaker right there. And they've worked it now to Kinsella, the man we were talking about, and they'll just move it through the hands here, and there's a great pace to the game already, and intensity. The boys moving this here really fast. This, as I say, is the top level. These are the boys who will be favourites for the Sigerson, because they've got to the league final. Not that it always follows like that, but you know what I mean. Kinsella again on the ball and working it back, and both teams working very hard in the first minute, and Maynooth been very patient. And
another player for Maynooth, number 21, is starting there as well in at centre forward at the minute.
There's the first effort on goal, but he's skied that to the left, and it has gone wide. First effort there, and you have to be patient in this sort of game, but they missed it there. So give me that again. 21. Dermot Hannafin from Naas and Kildare. So that's a teammate of Paddy McDermott, number 15, and he's up against his clubmate Sean Coffey, or rather Tom Brown, who's wearing 5 for UCD.
And number 20 for Maynooth as well is there in the middle of the field. Caught that kick out.
I'll come back to that. Number 12 is Dara Walsh, and he's put that in. There's a few players actually have started getting in my way. That's why I brought a step here. I'm just taking a step up here to look over these boys here so we can see what's going on. The UCD lads have just sort of parked themselves in front of me here on my left, but I've got a wee step to get above them so we can see what's happening there. This is number 9, Jerome Moriarty, one of the Meath men out there, right over on the far side. And that looks to have gone out for a UCD ball.
And interestingly, for the far linesman is actually another Meath man, Nafina. But interestingly, he's actually practicing priest. He's a Redemptorist priest in Dundalk. He actually is after getting the referee of the year in Meath this week as well. So more award winners on show today.
Wow, that's great information. Thanks for that.
Salvation is always nearby, you know.
I'm going to come back to Priest, by the way, and at some stage, and I'll explain that later. This is Paddy McDermott, and Maynooth owning the ball a lot and doing all the pressing so far. And that's a nice ball in, but he hasn't been able to take it in there, Donald Conlon, and it just bounced badly for him at the last minute, and he's got a lot of company there. So UCD have got it. They've got it to Gary O'Rourke from Ballyhaise in Cavan. Now they'll try and relieve the pressure. Yeah, see the 21 you mentioned there. That's Dermot Hanifin you see over there on the far side. It's a little bit dark over by the fence, but I'm sure you got him. And there's the goalkeeper O'Rourke, well out of his goals, as is the way these days. UCD now going from side to side, trying to move it quickly. They've got it to Tom Brown, the Nace man, Kildare, and they move it up to Sean Coffey now from Meath. And now it's Maynooth's turn to just sit in there. Now that pass has actually hit his own man, but they still managed to keep possession. Good recovery there from Brown, and this is Derek Craig from Boylan Roscommon. He's been watched tonight by the manager on the other side, who is the Roscommon manager, Davy Burke, keeping an eye on him. I think there's 6 Roscommon men involved tonight. This is Moriarty, and the call comes to keep the ball, but that's a nice ball into the corner. They're just trying to find a way through here. And this is Davy Garland. We've heard a lot about him, the only Monaghan man out there, but he doesn't get it. But instead Ben O'Carroll, St Bridget's in Roscommon now, looking lively, but he's got a lot of company, and they're just keeping them outside the scoring zone, or what they think is the scoring zone. Moriarty, though, tries to make little of that, but doesn't. That's a couple of times now, Kieran, we've seen the same pattern on both sides, that they've been patient, good defending. They've gone for the shot, and it's been the wrong option, even after all that patience.
Yes, a kind of a modern tactical approach is this horseshoe movement, that if you go into one corner, you kind of bring it out and around, because you're trying to avoid maybe contact with the sweeper in the middle, and sometimes it can be frustrating to watch, but when you understand maybe what tactically they're trying to accomplish, you can appreciate a lot going on. And Moriarty probably just overstepped with the long kick then.
And the number 20 you mentioned, by the way, there, who was on the ball just now, is actually the captain of Maynooth. That's Kieran Dwyer. I was told this morning by the college that they thought he had a knock and mightn't start, but he has. There's another effort at goal. That was ambitious, to say the least, by Paddy McDermott, and it just dropped into the arms. And that's 2 or 3 times, and you can understand the frustration and just wanting to get a pot at goal, but you have to be so patient in the modern game, because the defences, as you say, Kieran, are set up so effectively. And what it means then is that every score is just at a premium, because they just don't score that much. In fact, we did a ladies game here a few weeks ago, and it was something like 6 points to 5 or 7-6 as well, so that can be replicated in the ladies game, although the other semi-final was high scoring. But I wonder what we're going to get here tonight, Kieran. It certainly looks cagey so far.
Absolute caginess is kind of thing initially, but you'd like to think that the calibre player will kind of, at some stage, it'll unleash, and maybe the shackles will come off. But early on, so far it's been, I'd say, tit for tat, possession base over and back, and it will hopefully unleash.
Now there's a direct ball into the full forward line, and it's looking for Davy Garland. He gets a little bit of room, goes onto his left side, but it's actually brilliantly blocked down by the other number 15, Paddy McDermott. That was a more direct approach by UCD, but it's Maynooth now on the ball, and this is their captain, Kieran Dwyer. We were told he was in the subs, but he has started the game, so he must have overcome that knock. And they are going to build their attack now, and UCD will filter back. This is John Lawler, number 5, giving it to 7 is Colm Harnett. And that ball, is he going to keep it in? That's another sub. That's number 25 over in the far corner there, and this is 21, and that is Dermot Hanifin. Has he got the first score of the game? He has indeed. First blood to Maynooth. They have taken the lead, and that will justify the way they've been playing so far. They've done most of the pressing, and they've got the first score. Good score too. You can see it again there on a monitor. Kieran, he took it nicely.
Absolutely, probably a little bit of a, we'll say, a push. Not quite a push is a strong word, but he maybe nudged his defender out of the way, which is sometimes what the forward has to do to protect himself.
There's another effort, and the keeper had to watch that, and he did watch it really well. O'Rourke was able to just pluck that from underneath the crossbar. I think he was going for a point, but it could have just dropped in there, but they survived it. So I saw another sub out there, or I say a sub, someone who's named in the higher numbers. Was it 25 is out there from Maynooth? I think I saw it is indeed, and that is Dara Kerwin from Nace in Kildare. So another one from Nace in Kildare. So that club really well represented here. So those are late changes. We are trying to keep abreast of them. We were given the 1 to 15s, but Kildare have about 4 out there who were not in the 1 to 15, but I think we've given you most of them. In fact, most of them hammering the shot now. 19, 20, 21, 25 are all out there. I'm not quite sure who didn't start, but we're doing our best. Have you noticed any changes for UCD, or are they 1 to 15?
I've seen it seems to be 1 to 15. Sometimes managers and teams can think that it's the secrets of Fatima, and you just have to not tell anyone who's going to be playing wherever. There's some kind of illusion that if you don't know till you get here, you're going to be a point better than them. But maybe we'll give the credit they just didn't know or whatever. But
yeah, I think that was the case, to be fair. It was one of the college people, and they thought that the guy had a knock, but you don't know sometimes until they all turn up. UCD now with a chance outside the 45, and is he going for his own score? He's certainly with good dig in it, but well watched by the goalkeeper Cian Burke in there. Good safe hands as well. I think he was going for a score there, and it was a fair dig outside the 45, to be fair, but didn't quite get there, and it's Maynooth. And look where number 15 is, Paddy McDermott, all the way back there to take it from his keeper, and then they'll try and work the ball up the pitch and go through the lines and through the hands, as you say. Now, I nearly caught that ball. It was quite close to us here, but it was well taken by Rory Kinsella, and they moved down the wing. I'll have to get on my step here to look over all the subs from UCD, and UCD get the decision because the applause went up there from the sideline. And I didn't quite see exactly what happened, but it must be. It was
a line ball, Joe. And
that was a line ball.
The linesman that is Alan Coyne from Castletown Finay, actually a previous member DCU backroom team here, winning Sigersons, and a vice chairman actually at the Corl Ardidicus Lion before as well. So a lot of connections everywhere.
Yeah, and double jobbing, as you were calling earlier. I mean, as you do yourself sometimes. I mean, you've got to do that, but it's good to see people like that involved and helping out with the refereeing. And here comes the number 8, and that is Senan Forker from Castleknock in Dublin, with a good strong run through the middle, and they snuff it out in the end. And sometimes you see that, Kieran, and that's what happens when teams and they just can't get through, and somebody just makes a run hell for leather up the middle. But it didn't work for UCD, and they haven't scored, and we're 8.5 minutes into the game. So Maynooth's game plan working extremely well. Colm Harnett, Sarsfield Kildare gives it to his captain. His captain goes to ground but leaves it off. They're looking for a ball over the top, a good direct ball, but there's no one in there. There's no one on the edge of the square. There is now, but they've had to come over to Kinsella, and he's just patiently popping it around here and giving it to Harnett. You've got to give credit to Maynooth. They won the Freshers Division 1 final last year, and they're going for the double now. They're going for the actual Division 1 league in the Electric Ireland competitions this time, not just the Freshers. I thought there'd be quite a lot of the Freshers have come through, but it's only Kinsella in the starting 15. That's a terrific effort. That's brilliantly put over the bar, and that's the man I was picking out a minute ago, the number 25. That's the point of the game. What a score there.
Absolutely wonderful. And you actually see the number 5 for UCD probably was actually trying to sweep in front of the D, but probably didn't get there in time, and it just allowed the quick ball in. And I think that's always the way. If you can kick the ball before the +1 of the sweeper situates himself in the danger zone, that's what you got to do. You got to push the attack before the situation changes on you.
But also, if you can finish it, if you have a left foot like that and you put it over your shoulder, there's no stopping you. That was Kerwin. 2 points to no score, coming up to the 10-minute mark, and Maynooth will be delighted the way things have gone so far, and they're holding out as well. They haven't conceded, and they've scored 2 good points both from play, and UCD have a few questions to answer, and it makes a bit of a nonsense of the comment I was given this morning that UCD are hot favourites, but that did come from Maynooth, but that's what they do.
You'd always have to play yourself down. It's the underdog kind of idea that you don't want to go out there, and you always find sometimes interviews in the GA can be bland where they say we'll just go out here to make up the numbers and we're just trying our best. Yeah,
you'd want them to come out and say, yeah, we're fantastic, we're going to hammer these boys. Don't think that'll happen, but Maynooth certainly have made a good start, a good confident start as well. I'll go to your comments in a minute, but I haven't really had a chance to go to your comments on the live chat here because the game is being played at a great pace and there's very few stoppages, and David Goff, of course, All-Ireland final referee, is letting it go, but there hasn't been anything really to stop for. It's good fast moving football, and both teams trying to move it as much as they can. They are playing a little bit defensively, of course, but that's the way it is these days, but there's a good pace to the game, Kieran.
Well, the ball has been moved, and again, a lot of the tactical ideas to avoid contact, always move the ball, because we've seen maybe when people have got into contact, they've lost possession, or it's been a poor return on investment. So you see the way Maynooth are trying these kind of weaves, and the likes of Rory Kinsella here in front of us trying to get on the ball, but it's hard. UCD are tracking, they're athletic men.
Well, what I've noticed though is that Maynooth haven't been hitting the big balls, the big direct balls, trying to sort of hit and hope and getting it into the full forward line. They're prepared to be patient. Now they do exactly what I said that they're not doing, and they give it away. That's always the risk.
Well, that's the pitfall. We see the +1 there again. The sweeper is there. It was number 6 this time, not 5, and essentially Patrick O'Kane, he read the play brilliantly, and that's what, if you're going to kick it in, you got to avoid the sweeper.
And they certainly did not do that on that occasion. So UCD have possession again, but they haven't made any inroads at all, really. They had one block down, and they had a couple maybe drop short and a couple of wides, but nothing really of note at all. Let's see if they can do better this time. This is Ben O'Carroll. Looks dangerous now, and lovely ball, and they maybe not get a point so far, but they might get in for a goal. No, they're not going to. Instead it comes to Brian Cox, a Sligo man. Is he going to get a score? In fact, it was Ben O'Carroll in the end. And did the signal? No, it's gone wide. It's gone wide, gone to the left. I heard applause. I looked down there and I thought it was for a point, but it was actually applauding the defensive work.
Yeah, and possibly the misfortune of the striker. But it's probably a bit of a haphazard. The opportunity to shoot inside the scoring zone was there, and they probably bring it too close. There's no meteorological conditions that would affect
that ball's
it.
Coming straight to us. I could see that coming there. You were chatting away and I could see the ball was coming right at us. Didn't get a hand to it, but the man with it is Dermot Moriarty in front of us here, and there is the number 2 again. That's Cox. Spreads the play to the far side, and you're right, Kieran. I mean, they're moving the ball really quickly. Look at the fast hands and fast ball in, and that's the way to play it these days. And there's a great pace and great movement. Now Goff has given an award of a free there to UCD, and it looks like Davy Garland is in a bit of bother there, but he's some tough stuff. He's some Donamoyne, and he gets up immediately. But chance here for the first point of the game for Craig.
I think it was contact to the head, and the national referees are always advised if there's contact to the head to give a free, be it accidental or deliberate. And even though the player was probably lower than maybe their standard height, when you're going for the ball, you have to reward the skillful player, and that's why we have our free in.
I'm glad I've got you with us tonight, because you bring that sort of knowledge, and seriously, no, it's good to have that sort of up-to-date knowledge what referees are told and what the rules are, because you do obviously a better refereeing yourself. And there is the first. Oh no, it hasn't got there. It hasn't got there, and Cian Burke just got a clutch on that one underneath the crossbar there. I thought it had the legs, but it didn't quite get there, and UCD remain scoreless. And Burke from Clane in County Kildare is coming out of his goals, gives it to Kieran McCarrick from Dunshaughlin. Number 19 is Dylan Kavanagh from Rhodes and Offaly. They have a good spread of counties as well, although I think they'd listed 6 from Kildare to start. I don't know what it is now after all the changes. There's another ball from Maynooth that has not stuck, and UCD have taken that rather easily. I know that's a poor ball. Actually, they've given it straight to Kinsella, and he read that really well. And this is Dara Walsh trying the diagonal ball, and it's a super ball, and I thought he was going to be through there. And was it a collision? Was it deliberate? Foul.
Well, see, once the kick was outside the 45-metre line, that was an advance mark. So when you catch the advance mark, even if you don't signal it, you're entitled to your first 4 steps free once you're outside the large rectangle. So even if that was legitimate contact, still would have been a free in. So it's a good call by David. He's very up to date. He's always the rules guru in Meath as well, so we always check in with him. So he's spot on.
Great. Well, it's good that you have that knowledge as well to explain it to us as well. There, I was just thinking, there's a goal on here.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
if he was
maybe
through
wide
there.
back.
Oh, and he's hit that low. That's a poor kick. Whatever happened to him there. Dara Walsh there expected. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I was in shock there because he just didn't connect at all with that.
It's surprising for free takers at this level would usually be their best in their club, and in some cases the best in their county, and that's extremely mediocre at the moment.
Yeah, but 15 minutes of the game, and I think it's the first free apart from UCD a couple of minutes ago, it's the first free Maynooth have had, so it's his first. So sometimes even the best, they missed their first one, and maybe if it was a second or third he wouldn't have done that, but whatever happened there, he didn't get his routine right or something. But that was a strange one. Remains 2 points to nil. Over carrying, spotted by Goff. And David Goff.
Probably 6 small steps, I think. Still equals 4 normal ones, though.
Yeah, what's the rules on that one?
Well, it's always, again, subjective. It's the 4 steps at the time in which it takes to take 4 steps. So,
what is the time you're allowed? I used to think it was 4 seconds, then I heard 3 seconds.
No,
I mean,
it's subjective.
What is it?
It's
subjective.
Well, it's not told to us, so it's whatever you want as the referee.
Because the amount of times you put up a video online, and there's always someone on the steps police are out, and they'll always go, too many steps, and I'm going like, well, what did you expect the player to do? And I know ladies football were trying to be very clamping down on it last year as well, but you have to give a player a chance to kick the ball within reason. That's the subjectivity.
I think what happened there was the UCD player had the opportunity to offload the ball, and they chose not to, and that's why he done him on the 5th step, because he had the opportunity to release it. Sometimes maybe if you're getting the jersey pulled or you're in contact, the referee might afford you that extra step, even though he's not supposed to. That's understanding the game. But they had the opportunity to pass, and they chose not to, so they were penalised.
Excellent. Again, really good information and well explained, Kieran. Thanks for that. Referee on the spot again there, and let's play go on. And Dara Walsh, who missed that free, tries to go through, but there's a forest of light blue jerseys there, and they lose possession, and UCD is going to Well, they're not going to get it back. It's way over in the far corner. I thought he was going to get it, but it's actually Colm Harnett, number 7 for Maynooth, and they'll recycle and get it now to Darragh Lyons, the only Wexford man out there. Big fella in the middle. Thought he was going to come to this side, but instead he slips it inside, and they're just trying to get a little bit of room here. Now the man off the shoulder is Kerwin, who's got a score already, and he brings a bit of urgency to it and gets it back and goes on that left foot, kicks it really quickly. Is it on target? Going to the right, and it's gone just wide, and remains 2 points to no score. I'm just going to go and see what the messages are on the live chat, because there's a huge audience there watching the game. Yeah, and Shane was telling us Kerwin started for Mayo. Well, we did figure that out ourselves eventually, and they got a good score, as did Kieran Dwyer. Thanks for that. We'll go back to the play now, because Maynooth have a chance of their first score of the game, and it is number 13, Fiacre Clifford from Lawn Rangers, the Kerry man. I'm going to need you to explain again what happened there. He took his advance mark and there was nobody near him, and then he did that. And I was going to say, well, what's the point? He could have gone and done that from play, but he obviously fancied doing it that way, and it worked.
And the left foot as well, of course. Lawn Rangers is Mike Frank Russell's club, a legendary Kerry forward, and that was just as picturesque as some of the points that he would have delivered over the years.
It was indeed. And that gets UCD on the board, 2 points to 1, and unusual to find someone in that much room and that much space there, especially Clifford. I mean, your management won't be too happy. You always mark at Clifford from Kerry, but he got the first score of the game there for UCD.
Again, it's interesting, sometimes you said that the advance mark, it probably was an opportunity to keep going, but he probably saw the wisdom of maybe in his peripheral vision that there was a defender coming, so it's always a wise decision to take the advance mark when you score. But I'd say the percentage is actually probably not, the return is probably not as good as it could be. Because usually it's kind of like, actually when, was it Arsene Wenger, the Arsenal manager, always said that if you get contact you shouldn't take the penalty or take the free, so it's kind of, you're coming in with an elevated heart rate, etc.
Let's go back to the play. You lost me with Arsene Wenger there, even though I'm a huge fan of his, because I wanted to get to that score, and that's the 21 for Maynooth, and that's Dermot Hanifin from Naas in Kildare, who's put it over, and they go 3 points to 1 up. And you didn't lose me. I was engrossed in what you were saying, and then I thought I better get back to this game because Wenger's my hero. So anything you say about Wenger's great.
But he always encouraged that if your heart rate is up, you shouldn't take the set play. Because he said it's very hard to maybe take contact and then make a good conscious decision.
Don't think a lot of soccer players listen to that though.
No.
I mean, what was it last week? Ronaldo, threw himself on the ground, the slightest touch, and got the penalty, and they didn't overturn it. Never mind that. Let's get back to here.
Refer to the CCC.
Yeah. Don't know if they have that out in Qatar at the World Cup. Maybe they should. Great catch in there. Has he got it, Kerwin? Referee has blown. And is that another example of what you were talking about earlier on about the contact?
I think so, because he signalled that he had the free. So once you catch that mark, you're entitled to the first 4 steps free. The only exception to that is if you're inside the large rectangle, you're not entitled to the free steps. So it would be a bit outrageous if he caught the ball and then was able to walk into the net and bury it. So.
Well, he caught it, but then he seemed to lose it pretty quickly.
Well, see, again, the definition of the catch.
But maybe that was because of the contact.
Yeah, but this is the thing, that the catch is not as clearly defined. Like it doesn't have a seconds. It's kind of a, what do you perceive a catch to be? It's an interesting kind of thought, and maybe the viewers might put in what they think.
Well, you catch it, but then I suppose how long you hold on for it to keep it as a catch.
Because even like if you follow like American football, the NFL, they have pages of pages defining these things, but we don't. We just kind of leave it to the referee, which is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing.
We'll let other people debate that. Back in the play, a little bit of a piggy back there, and it's a free for UCD, and Darragh Lyons says fair enough, fair cop, and it is Dermot Moriarty, and he slips it out to Clifford again. He hasn't been on the ball too much, but he has got the only score of the game for UCD, and they've been playing 21 minutes and they've only scored the 1 point. And I know there's an element of surprise in my voice, but that's the way the game is these days. Is that a second? Is that going in? Our camera right behind that, and I'm right behind it, but I'm still not sure. But either way, no, the umpire gives it wide, and David Goff has given it as a free. What do you make of that, Kieran?
I think it was definitely wide, so that solves maybe the debate. The free is easier to give then, but I couldn't really see the contact because I ended up following the ball myself.
Yeah, and there's a pole behind the goals as well, and it's where the post is, so from my angle I just got a wee bit lost there and where that was over the bar. And I'm getting well, I have respect for officials anyway, but you know, little decisions like that there make you give them even more respect. It's not an easy job, and as you say, when you're trying to be subjective as well. Second score of the game for UCD, 2 frees. Whereas at the other side, their scores, I think, have all come from play.
Yeah, the last one was kind of an advanced mark, maybe free. It's kind of a, is it a free or is it a mark? But yeah, Maynooth are probably just having a bit more freedom maybe in the forwards. But I think UCD are just turned the screw a little bit here, and they're starting to push on, which is good for the neutral at home.
UCD looking another score to try and get it back to 3, and that's Ben O'Carroll turning and twisting there, but being forced to come back out again. He got a goal in the super win up at Jordanstown, and there's a ball dropping into the arms, and if you're from UCD you'll be frustrated about that, and you won't like to see that, because it sets the other team on the attack as well, because the goalkeeper can just take it out, and it wasn't even near going over. So again, you have to be patient. This is Kinsella.
He loves to drop deep like that and play with both feet. He likes to kind of join the dots and play make, which is an important part of the game nowadays, to move the ball up.
Absolutely, I see that, and it's almost, a two-touch game, isn't it? You've got to not hang on to the ball too much, move it, keep them moving, and kick pass as much as you can to go sideways as well. And Kinsella now has found himself in a little bit of space over in this right. I thought he was going to get it there, but instead they've gone back through the middle and they've run into traffic. Now they're going to come out to him, and Kinsella now is in a little bit of room out in the right hand side, and he did exactly what you said there again, Kieran. As soon as he got it, he kicked past it. If you take even one touch out of it, you're letting players get back, I guess. So that's maybe the name of the game. UCD now trying to move. Let's see how quickly they move it. And that's Pierce Rutledge from Knockmore and Mayo on the ball, and on the ball again, but he runs into traffic and gets a hit there from Kieran Dwyer. But Dwyer is actually the man who's gone down, and he's holding his head. But I think if anything, he maybe initiated that challenge, and it's UCD continuing on, and Moriarty now on his right foot. That's going to go wide. Just at the last minute he was forced out, and it's Dwyer who is down, the captain, and he took a bit of a knock there, but he sort of ran into the collision himself. He didn't pull out. No,
and you need that. You need the bravery. And see, Cathal Brady, the physio, is there. Another Meath man, another Meath connection here tonight. We must have all came on the same bus. But Cathal is a great man for the athletic rehab therapy. He'll give him the once over. And of course, a new kind of rule that's probably a great discussion point is this one of suspected head injury. You can make the temporary substitution.
Did you say suspected?
Yes, that's the phrase in the rule book.
Suspected. What does that mean? Does that mean you don't? You're not sure if he's?
Yeah, see, you can't make, we know from modern medical science that you can't actually diagnose a head injury on the spot. It's
I see what you mean. So right, okay. So it's a diagnosis thing rather than you don't believe the guy.
Yeah. So, but if he says to me, if I ask him a simple question like, "Are you aware of your surroundings?" and he's unsure of his answers, I can order him off to be checked by a medical person, which is kind of just to cover the referee's base too.
Well, I think we've seen that. There wasn't a controversy about that last week at the World Cup as well, and guys being allowed to play on.
And in the rugby with South Africa.
Was it the rugby? Yeah. Maybe that was it, yeah. We're on with the play. Paddy McDermott, another of the Naas contingent, with that good diagonal ball causing a lot of trouble, and they're through, and it might even be a goal. It was waiting for the net to ripple there, and Kinsella puts his hands to his head. He can't believe that didn't go in the net. I think it's gone out of play down to the right now, and that was the big 25 Kerwin again. He's made a big difference in this game. He was in from the start, and that diagonal ball, you see the effort again. That was close.
Yeah, the goalie did well though to cut the angle off. He made it difficult, O'Rourke, in the goals. He just put him off slightly by coming out and cutting off the angle, so I think credit to the goalkeeper.
Absolutely. And I know you're going on about Meath a lot, but it's lovely to hear a Meath man congratulating and celebrating a Cavan man.
Well, we like to help all disadvantaged people, so it's...
You told me you were talking to his dad before in the car park as well, so you must have some friends down that way.
Yeah, we try our best. Good relations nowadays in modern GA communities. We try and mend all the bridges.
Aye, until you play them.
Absolutely.
Well, did you know Eamon Murray, who was the Meath manager when they won the last two Ladies All-Irelands, he was Cavan.
Absolutely.
He's a Cavan man. Absolutely, you knew that.
And of course his backroom team are now involved with the Meath senior football team with Colm O'Rourke, so it's interesting to see how Garrigan and Ivers and these guys will do in a new age of Meath Gaelic football.
Garrigan's actually based in Wicklow. He's Balticlass.
Yeah.
Comes all the way up. Heard a great story, actually. I'll relate it to you in a minute if we get a break here. He was going to train and they were driving all the way from Balticlass and they crashed. And the other fella in the car, when they got there, he was sick with the travel. You know, he couldn't believe it. They'd had a bit of a bang or whatever, but all Paul was interested was the training going to be on time? And when they got there, your man, who was feeling a bit sick from the journey and the bang or whatever, he was actually physically been sick, and they looked up and Paul was out in the pitch already and had everything laid out and was blowing the whistle and doing the training, you know, so nothing would stop the training.
And that's why he's been employed by me, now, as our head coach to develop all the other coaches in our system. So he's thought very highly in me. Then we're hoping that he'll have some of the magic that he had with the ladies.
Well, he certainly had magic, and there's another bit of magic, and that's beautifully put over the bar by the man from Naas in Kildare. I did say there's a big contingent from his club, and Paddy McDermott, and that's exactly the way to do it. Move the ball quickly and get a little bit of space, and when you get the chance, get it to your shooter, and he really shot that over the bar well.
And it's a really classy effort when you outside of the foot. It just adds that element of, we'll say, flair, and it just makes maybe just pleasing on the eye, and it maybe just showcases the skill of the player involved.
Absolutely, and a lot of good skill here, and a lot of great young players tonight in the Electric Ireland Division 1 League Final. And that one bounces out kindly for UCD, and they're trying to counter-attack here, but they haven't had as much joy, and they're 3 points down. They've only scored 2 points. They haven't scored from play yet, Kieran. 27 and a half minutes, and this UCD team, very talented, and they're in this final, but they haven't scored yet from play, and they have the likes of Clifford in there, and they've got Ben O'Carroll in there, and they've Garland, we heard a lot about as well, but they haven't got a score from play. Maybe they'll change that right now. This is O'Carroll from St Bridget's. That's beautiful work from him, and he does put things right with a super score, and that's the man from St Bridget's. He got a goal against Ulster University in the quarterfinals, and that's a classy point, just right on cue. When I was asking them where it was coming from, that's where it came from.
Yeah, it's the first time maybe we saw Maynooth maybe a bit slightly more aggressive with the tackling, and it opened up maybe spaces in behind. But UCD probably just a bit more direct, maybe less of this kind of sideways lateral movement and more direct, as maybe the pull down. I think Moriarty with a bit of the Mead dark arts there.
The two midfielders just grappling, and the number 9 Dermot Moriarty got away with it, and this is Clifford. And brave tackling there now to get a bit of a knock. Was it the number 8? Was it Darragh Lyons, the Wexford man, who got across there? I'm trying to check his number because I want to give him credit there. No, actually it was the number 6. It was Colin Walsh from Oran Rin Roscommon who got across there for Maynooth, and certainly can't fault the commitment of the players tonight. They're giving everything. It's almost got a Sigerson feel to it tonight, even though it's the last day of November and we're a few months away from the Sigerson. But really good football out there tonight, good crisp passing and a crisp night as well. It's hard to believe that December's only a couple of hours away. This is the captain, Kieran Dwyer, wearing 20 for Maynooth as we come up to the end of the first half. They lead by 2 and they're being patient. They'd love to get another wee score just right at the end of the half. They get it to McDermott. He got their last score. He's out of range now, so he'll try and work it in. He gives it to Kerwin. He's caused a lot of trouble in this first half, and that's a great ball. They might be in behind here. They might even get a goal. No, it's really well watched, and it was McDermott trying to get in there, but it was really well watched by the centre half back, Patrick O'Kane from St Patrick's in Wicklow. Got a goal actually up at Jordanstown, but he prevented one there. Now here's a chance of a goal at the end, and Kerwin, he's going for it. He blasts it, comes off the post, and might still end up in the net. Oh, brilliant finish, top corner. Pick that one out. Darragh Walsh from Oran and Roscommon, and Maynooth have got a goal right at the end of the first half, and they've deserved it. It's been a super half of football from them.
Just the intensity of that, we'll say, last 90 seconds, and just the 2 shots here, absolute bullet. But great awareness then to come in and knock the Ascension. But I'd say UCD must be absolutely killing themselves with the intercept of the ball, great defending, but then the wild kick across the defence, underage stuff. You'd never do it at the senior level. Shouldn't have kicked it across, interception, and just what a way to maybe counteract the counter-attack by going straight back at them, not let them out. Like maybe Maynooth could have sat back and maybe said, we'll just consolidate our defence, but no, they pushed up, they won the ball back, and what a goal.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant finish there right at the end of the half, and you love to see it, absolutely love to see it. Now we're in injury time, added time at the end of the first half. UCD a little bit shell-shocked. I think they've now found themselves 5 points behind. And to be fair, on the balance of play, Kieran, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I think Maynooth have done the better of the key moments. They've probably just, again, brought that slightly bit more intensity to the collision zones, and they're probably just intercepting the ball more. And then UCD probably just will be frustrated maybe that they're not getting the space inside, but I think there was a bit of off the ball stuff there.
I'm not sure what happened there actually. I looked up and the man was on the ground. I was hoping you were eagle-eyed, but I had you talking as well, so I didn't quite see what happened there. But it's definitely a free in. I wonder it was one of those ones you were talking about.
David's an absolute hawk himself. There's a few lads. Cormac Riley was on the media referees. They nearly have, I don't know if they're watching the ball at all. They're nearly watching inside because it's just insane their peripheral vision. But I'd say it just seemed to be contact, illegal collision inside, and it's a free in for UCD. They need it because they're struggling if they miss this.
Yeah, right at the end of the half. Well, it'll bring it back to 4 anyway, but they'll be looking forward to getting in. And their manager, John Dively, who managed Maynooth in the 2012 Sigerson Cup final, the last time Maynooth were in a senior top level final, is the manager at UCD now, and they have got one back, and I think it was it Derek Craig, number 11, I think, put that over. It's got it back to a 4-point game, but a fascinating first half. Really enjoyed that half of football. Finished there with a bit of class right at the end with a smashing goal, but as we were saying, we think that is pretty fair on the scores. We'll, at the start of the second half, go through the teams again. I'm not sure if the players are going to go inside or not, but I'm sure we'll have 7 or 8 minutes anyway off a break at half time, so we will take a break and we'll be back, and we'll probably talk to, we're hoping to get the chairperson of higher education as well at the start of the second half, so we've all that to look forward to, and then we'll have the second half and we'll have the cup presentation at the end as well. But for now, we're going to take a little break. just in time for the second half. I'm out of breath, so Kieran, you're on for commentary, mate. It's your big chance. Away you go. Start of the second half, and it's UCD in the light blue on the attack right away, and they need to get on the attack because they trailed by 5 points when that goal went in. They're still 4 down, and there's an effort right at the start. A little bit ambitious, but I think it's just gone to the right, and it has gone right and wide. That's the UCD boys in front of us. All the subs. I heard Jack being called. I don't know which Jack it is, but they have a few Jacks. I see 23 is on there for UCD, so just checking my notes. That will be the Donegal man from Neve Connell, Jack McKelvey. He's in there for UCD, so they resisted making any changes during the first half, but they have now. Now, good strong play up the middle from McDermott. He's a fine player and has had a fine first half, as did Darragh Lyons. And Maynooth just getting possession and settling things down, and this is their captain. What an opportunity for Maynooth to create more history tonight. It was history just getting here. No one really expected them, I think, to win, but they've obviously justified it, and they came through a lot of tough games and beat DCU in the semi-finals. So they had a tough passage here, and I did look at that and thought, well, teams who come through tough games, that says a lot about them, and they've shown that tonight. They're very organised and very talented and very patient as well, as you see now from Colm Harnett. And Dwyer's always making himself available, and he'll probably get it now from McDermott. You see any other changes, Kieran, at the start of the second half? UCD has spotted one there just.
Not at the moment. I presume Maynooth will probably be hesitant to change anything at the minute. UCD are probably, it's in the ball's in their court to push it and change. But at the minute Maynooth are holding the ball with regulation. That's a long time to be in possession of the Gaelic football. But I'd say they probably just went too far into the corner. Yeah,
well, good defending, I suppose. Like I say, good organised, disciplined defending from Maynooth, but it's a 45.
And there's a phrase kind of in modern Gaelic games is this idea of taking oxygen, like sapping the oxygen is to like make a big turnover, to do something maybe kind of like that, score a goal like that was a big oxygen sapper for UCD, but they need to take possession. I think David actually is given a 45 in that corner.
He has, right over on that far side, and the scoreboard just to the left of the camera says 1-5-2-4, 8-4 for Maynooth in the green, or teal, I think we agreed at half-time is a correct description. Very nice jersey it is too, and very nice football from the team. Dwyer, the captain, always available to feed it out. McDermott, the playmaker, around the middle, and then the run, I think that is from Harnett. Is it the number 7? Yeah. Referee, interesting referee position. He's over actually nearly in the goal area, but coming over, as you say, he's great vision.
Yeah, and again, just a decision again, the yellow card, contact to the head, it's consistent, like it's trying to get, if all the referees are obeying that, and they're obviously not happy with the decision because he's bringing it up 13 metres. David doesn't suffer fools lightly. The decision's been made. It's your job, your duty, just to get on with the play, not to question. He's not in the consultative practice.
And that's easily popped over the bar, unlike the one in the first half, I have to say, which was a strange one, but that's a better one, and that's got it back to 1-6, so it's 9 plays 4, 5-point lead again, and referee spotted something else way off the ball. Where's he going with this one now? This looks like a free for UCD way up the pitch. We were all watching, well, I was watching what the goalkeeper was doing and where the movement was around there, but he has got his card out and he's speaking to, is that big Darragh Lyons, the number 8, and there's a yellow card for him. It is indeed the man from Wexford.
He's probably trying to get Moriarty, did the exact same thing to him the first time he got away with it. So
the two of them are over here, they're having their own little battle. Well, maybe that's the officials all getting together and saying keep an eye on that, so it's not just the referee, to be fair. And this is the other number 8. This is Senan Forker from Castleknock in Dublin, and he gives and looks to get again. I don't think he's going to get it back. Instead, UCD, they're having real trouble penetrating the rear guard here of Maynooth because they've scored a few, but from frees, and they haven't got through for any goal chances. And the way this game is going, they might need to try and get that near the end. And they've lots of movement there, and boys off the shoulder now, and they're trying to get through, and good work. But look at the green jerseys there, so well organised, and UCD trying everything. And this is Dara Craig trying everything, and the shot comes in the end, and it has gone wide from Jerome Moriarty. So the defensive coach, if they have one at Maynooth, and I'm sure they do, everyone has one these days, must be delighted with their organisation. And that's the second that has gone wide on that side from UCD in the second half. And there's the big man who got booked, getting important possession and taking the mark. And there's room over this side if they can find Harnett, and they do. I think I had him popping up on the other side. Maybe it wasn't him a minute ago, but he's certainly involved here. And that's a great ball into Kerwin, but Kerwin couldn't quite take it on the run. And UCD will try to counter-attack. And this is where we use the cliche now, Kieran, that the game's opening up a little bit because it's going from end to end and players aren't getting back as quickly. Donegal man now from Niamh Connell, McKelvey going down the right-hand side, trying to link up and trying just to find some way through, but they can't even find a pocket of space in there. Can't get anywhere near it, in fact, and instead Craig is forced to go all the way over to the far side. So they're just going from side to side, but they can't penetrate that horseshoe that Kieran was talking about in the first half. This is Davy Garland. We've heard a lot about him. Did you say he scored 3 goals in the semi-final?
3-3, I believe.
Wow. Well, individual exploits like that aren't counting tonight. It's about the team effort, and Maynooth's team effort in defensive terms has been exceptional. Here's a chance maybe for Forker. No, they feed it out, and now it's the Kerry man Clifford who goes for the shot. He's the shooter, and he does nail it on that occasion. They were patient and they got it to the right man, and he finished, and they needed that.
Again, you mentioned the horseshoe in the build-up. They went from side to side, they did the U-shape, they really worked it. Possibly looked stagnant at times, and that's really when you get the excellent shot taker like Clifford, who stands up and just has to do something maybe which is just somewhat out of the ordinary, and that was quite a good score from distance.
Certainly was. So it's been tit for tat in the second half, which is suiting Maynooth as long as they keep getting a few points up at the other end, and that's well worked. And it's that man Kerwin again. He's had a great game. He goes for an ambitious score, and that one goes to the left and wide. He's got a really good dig at him, Kieran, and he can also hit it under pressure, but on that occasion just to the left.
It's probably just ill-advised. It was possibly a poor percentage shot. Like the analytics now in sport, like in Gaelic football, shows that you're not going to score. Like the further you go away from the goals in a left-footed angle, it's just not going to work. And I think David's talking to his father, Eugene, inside in the goals.
Yeah, he always has family with him.
Something is
but you know, I know what you're saying about the percentage, but in the first half he scored a couple of great points like that, and it's that ability that you see at the really top players to be able to take a point on the run as well when you're under so much pressure. So it's a bit of both, isn't it? You know, you've got to take a gamble sometimes too.
It can't be a game of analytics. As much as we love the whole process, it has to be.
You love it, I don't.
It has to be. The human nature element is massive.
Absolutely, and that little bit of sort of, what do you call it, sort of individual talent there, that he can take a score like that. I like to see a bit of that as well. So he takes a risk, and there's not many people taking risks out there, just trying to find pockets of space so they can get a point or a run through the middle. That's great work actually by Forker there, trying to just develop something for his teammates, and there is something that is developed for his teammates. And UCD, a couple of scores in a row for them, and they're just edging their way back and finding their way as well. Was it 23? It was a Donegal man. It was McKelvey who came on at half time, and he'll be pushing for a Sigerson spot with finishing like that.
And again, the outside of the foot, it's just majestic to watch. And again, we talk about risk. That's the risk. He took it on again from a tough angle, but just had confidence in his own ability, and it's an excellent score. UCD probably just bubbling a bit of momentum.
Well, they are, Kieran, but you see there, the press wasn't very effective. I mean, Maynooth are getting it out of their full-back area very easily and getting possession, and now they've drawn a free, so it sort of kills the momentum. So the press isn't very effective from
and again, yellow
UCD.
Card for contact to the head. It's consistent the whole way. You make contact with the head, he gives the yellow card. It's just sometimes.
And what qualifies as contact against the head?
He made it's rough play, to engage in rough play, and he basically tried to attempt to get the ball, but again it was grabbing around the head. It's anything from the shoulders up basically.
So any contact above that area, okay, fair enough.
It has to be deemed maybe not consistent with an attempt to play the ball. That's kind of a buzzed line.
Yeah, it's definitely been prevalent tonight. I mean, there's 3 or 4 examples, and there's cards given for it as well. And There's nobody complaining about it. I don't know if they really understand what's going on, but it's good to have you there telling us the up-to-date news and what that's all about. 17
He's new
now
on, is he?
for Maynooth. He's Tom Moran from Wicklow. He must have come on at half-time. I've just spotted him in there. Now there's an interesting ball into the edge of the square, and the big man is in there, and that's why they put it in. They're trying to close the door, but he's getting through. Referee says free out, free out. I saw the referee was watching him and he indicated, and I was thinking he's not going to go for a penalty here, but no, he gives a free out. But the big fella there, is it Donald Conlon from Giva and Sligo, maybe number 14, or was it 25? I think it was 25, maybe it was Kerwin, but either way he got the ball. But all of a sudden 5 men around him, but if he'd have got away there and got a goal there, you know, Maynooth would be in a really, really strong position.
I think it was excellent defending, because I think they didn't fall into the trap of maybe rushing him and maybe taking the sidestep or fouling him. They possibly just made enough contact to make him hesitate, and the numbers game put him off. And it's very hard for a referee to give a penalty there. You might give a free in the middle of the field, but there's always that perception that it's just harder to get a penalty. And you'd have to say UCD, they just dealt with it well. But if you keep knocking on the door like that, eventually it's going to maybe go in the net.
I think it was 14 actually, Donald Conlon. I don't think he was there in the first half. Maybe he's one of those ones that gave away at the start, but he's in there in the second, and he's wearing 14, the Sligo man. So that's 2 Sligo men on the pitch. The other is Brian Cox, the number 2 for UCD. UCD now 3 points down. They've got it back from 5. And that smashing goal at the end of the first half is the difference between the teams. UCD now moving smartly down the wing right in front of us, and that's great work by Cormac Egan from Tullamore and Offaly. He's been involved a lot in the second half, and he's involved, well, he's available here again if needed, but Clifford has fed it back out, and they're looking to get the shot in here, and it's the midfielder, and he struck it well, but it's just gone to the left, I think, and it has gone to the left and wide. I think they were trying to get Clifford on the ball there and just couldn't get him. But let's watch this press again here from UCD. They're trying to keep Maynooth in here, but Maynooth are very, very good at getting out. Where's he going? The referee's got his back to it at the minute now. He says go on, and there's a lovely little chipped ball, and again, goalkeepers are so adept at that these days, but it's so important in getting possession, and Maynooth have been very, very good at that tonight, and they get a free. I've also had a message here, by the way, Kieran, that Paul Dively is on the Maynooth sideline. I was told about that this morning. He won a pile of titles with Kildare hurlers, former captain, still playing, Christy Ring Hurler of the Year in 2020. Yeah, he's in there helping out. I did ask this morning, was he related to John Dively, but he's not. But that's who is on the sideline, so people watching all over the country.
He's the strength and conditioning coach for Kildare GA as well, I think, as well. So he's actually, we had a meeting the night, the Leinster referees were after getting a strength and conditioning plan of our own for the winter, so he could be, I don't know how well received he is with the referees now. We have a tough winter ahead of us, so.
No, don't be asking for sympathy, because you know you're never going to get it.
Not at the referees, definitely not.
No, but it's been great having you tonight for all that information, up to date, and what exactly the referees are thinking and why the decisions are being made. UCD on the attack with Dara Craig. That's nicely played in and nicely taken as well by Clifford. And has he got that? I think it's gone to the left, and it has, and that was a little bit ambitious. Just checking your comments on
Garland that time, was it? I think it was Garland.
Oh, was it Garland? Sorry.
That's the first time he hasn't really, again, they've tried to get him on the ball a few times. That's the first time, and he probably took a bit of a snapshot because of the fact he's frustrated with the lack of possession, I think.
Now, where are they going? Maybe the press isn't working this time, because it looks like they're going to have to go long. No, they're not. McDermott just turned smartly there, and they're so adept at that, Maynooth. Now they're playing it down the wing. Beautiful kick pass, and well taken as well by Kerwin. What a game. I can't believe he's named at 25. He's been absolutely terrific tonight. Left foot, right foot. Now that's a couple that have dropped. Well, one has gone wide and one has dropped in, but certainly his approach play has been very, very impressive. Now referee has spotted something here, Kieran, and you know what all these decisions are for. When he's given a yellow, he didn't like something there by 23, the Donegal man. What was that about?
Gumshield. David is an absolute stickler for the failure to comply with the instruction to wear a mouthguard. He warns lads sometimes, and sometimes he just implies the rule. So he copped, no gum shield, yellow card.
And how does he see that? How do you watch every player?
I think it's sometimes if a player has something to say that he shouldn't say.
Oh, right, okay. So he's not that he's going around looking at everybody's mouth. He can see when they're giving off. Yeah,
it helps.
All right, okay. Chance for Maynooth to go back to 4 in it. That's an ambitious one. It comes off the post and just goes the wrong side. Terrific effort, but it's gone to the right and it's gone wide. Now, I know some people on the live chat are asking for the teams. We did give them out at the start, and actually there was about 5 changes that we didn't realise. So we'll try and keep you up to date with
the squad numbers are on the social media page as well. If they have the ability to go on their phone and maybe screencast it onto their television.
Good spot, absolutely. As long as they stick to the numbers we say, and they've done that. And there's not really a breath in this game where you can actually stop and sort of give teams out or discuss too much, because the game has flowed so well. One, because of the players, and two, because of the referee, although he has stopped it right now. And again, a yellow card. And I'm going to ask you again, what was that one for?
That one I'm unsure. I didn't pick it up because UCD have the ball, so unless it's the failure to comply with the gum shield again. But
no, I don't think so. I'm not even sure who it was given to.
It's number 11 for UCD, but they maintain possession, so I'm unsure what that is now. If someone
Craig, don't know. I mean, so it was UCD got it, but they still
have possession. So I'm unsure what it was for.
Okay, we'll let you off of that one since you've been so hot on all the rest.
We'll have to get David Goff mic'd up the next. That's probably the future. I think is coming that way too.
Yeah. Way over in the far corner from us. I'm trying to see who that is over there. That's where I got Garland mixed up a minute ago. It's Maynooth trying to break out, and I think that figure is Dara Lyons. He's unmistakable. He's been driving them forward all evening, and he's done it again. That's brilliant play by the big man, taking on UCD on his own and then leaves it forward, but the ball is spilled and it's not a free, so UCD will break. And this is turning into a really fascinating contest, and certainly not the one-sided one that some people predicted for UCD. Not at all. They are behind, but they are on the attack, and it's McKelvey from Donegal, from Neve Connell, and the referee's going to bring it all the way back, and there must be an advantage there. And he's got the book out again. That's a lot of writing in his book.
This could be a black card and a sin bin. Just watch this.
Oh yeah, for the challenge. Yeah, that's what it was after the ball had just gone. And it's Colm Harnett from Sarsfields Kildare who's gone off as UCD bring on 2 subs. So yeah, just explain that again there while I figure out who these subs are.
The rule is to collide with the player after he has played the ball, or for the purpose of taking him out of the play. So that's a simple one. David seen it. The player had passed the ball, and basically the Maynooth player took him out of the play, and that's as simple. You see the foul, you give the appropriate sanction, and that's good refereeing by David. He tried to let them through with the advantage as well. They might have been able to score, but he wisely came back, issued the 10-minute sin bin. So that's there approximately 46.5 minutes or so. There's a 10-minute sin bin there now,
and that was a clear-cut one, and it's resulted in a free, so they've got that. And McKelvey looked like he might go for the shot. He didn't go for it, and that meant that the referee was able to bring it back at that point. Now there's a chance here, and it's Garland, and he chips that into the man I mentioned a few minutes ago, Egan, who's been having a good second half, and they've worked it into this right corner, but can they find space? They can't. They've given it straight back to Maynooth, and little interplay by them manages to get it out of defence. And that's John Lawler from Eadestown, number 5 back there. He's at a fine performance in there for Maynooth. Well, they've all played well, and they're moving it smartly across the field. A little bit of pressure being exerted there now. There's fresh legs on for UCD, but Maynooth still composed. Colin Walsh gets it to McCarrick, and all the way back there is Kinsella. And look at the pressure being exerted on them. A lot of pressure there, but they're still managing to get the ball up, but they only get as far as halfway. And here come UCD again. They really are working really hard in this game, but that's a loose ball there. Oh, and a tackle comes in, and they've got it. They might even get in here for a goal, and it is wide in the end. It's no score from Garland, and the UCD subs beside me not too happy with that. I thought there might have been a free there for the challenge on the ground, but it went, and that was a half chance of a goal there, but it remains 1-6-6, Kieran.
Yeah, it's a tight one. The jersey probably slightly pulled. It's very uncharacteristic. David possibly just missed it. He was blindsided by the player, but a slight pull of the jersey, maybe possibly a free in.
Subs, by the way, came on 24 and 28 for UCD. You can barely get a second to get a explanation in here because the game is moving so fast, which is terrific to see. Great work there by Donald Conlon, the number 14, and by Dara Walsh for Maynooth out and around the middle of the field there to win that kick out and get possession. They're really giving as good as they are getting in this second half, and it's a really, really smart contest. 24 is Ronan Buckley for UCD, who's come in, and 28 is Dara McIllarney.
Corner forward illegal again, just tackling off the ball. This time unusually to see the forward actually the culprit. Again,
peripheral vision there of the referee. Number 3 is James Moran from Longford for UCD. Coming up to help. This is 28. Is it McIllarney? I'm trying to go with that pronunciation. Just checking my notes here again. Dara McIllarney, yeah, from Monaghan, from Drumhoan. I said there was only one Monaghan man here tonight. There's two, and the 24 Ronan Buckley is from Kerry. So those are two changes for UCD in the last couple of minutes. They're trying to get some fresh legs in there as we go in. Well, it's hard to believe we're 19, nearly 20 minutes into the second half. This second half's absolutely flown.
Yeah, I think UCD have definitely made a concerted effort to press higher up the field and be more aggressive in the tackle. It's worked for them pretty much, and it's probably just adding an extra bit of life to the game, because when two teams are pressing high up the field, it is entertaining to watch.
That's gone to the right and it's going to go wide. He hasn't really connected the last couple of them in the way that they need to.
No, it's poor again, and it's just maybe body language as well. I talked about that oxygen factor. When you see a star forward of that miss and his head seems to be down, the shrug on the shoulders, it's not a good body language to put out there.
Yeah, but I guess it's just been that kind of game. It's been hard for him to get into the game because the defence of Maynooth has been so good.
What a catch.
Brilliant catch. And UCD giving everything they can to try and win this game in the last 10 minutes, and we are into the last 10 minutes now, and that's an ambitious effort from the left. Has he got it on target? I'm waiting for the signal. It's gone to the right and it's gone wide. Referee checking his watch a little bit early for that. Still plenty of time for UCD, but they're not getting any change out of Maynooth. I mean, 6 points. It's unbelievable defended by Maynooth to keep them down to 6 points, and a lot of it has just been composure back here. And this fella here, the goalkeeper, really impressed by Cian Burke from Leixlip in Kildare. And look at him, he's so cool here. He's just watching and he can adapt at any moment. Look, he's going, I can go left, I can go right, short, long. Goes long this time. And he's looking for the big man, Dara Lyons, out there again from Wexford. Some smashing performances for Maynooth tonight. They really have their tails up. They're hoping to make history tonight. They're playing terrific football as well. Kinsella now finding a little bit of room, and he just pops a lovely pass in there to Paddy McDermott. McDermott will come back out looking for him. Kinsella on the right foot, and that's going left. You saw what he was trying to do, but both teams just missing the target in the last 4 or 5 minutes. But I'm going to come out with a cliche here, Kieran. It could go either way.
Definitely, and it's like statistically, since the sin bin has been brought in at the national level, the team that has the extra player, the percentage scoring has increased dramatically. It has been a worthwhile endeavour in that regard, but so far UCD haven't really capitalised on the extra man, and we actually haven't seen Maynooth probably do any time waste or anything. That they're probably playing it a bit too fair. Yeah,
credit to both sides there, especially Maynooth being in the lead, because they're just going for it. They're not coming up with any nonsense. Substitution there, Dara Lyons, the big fella from Wexford that I've mentioned a good few times, he's gone off to have a rest. He's put in a great shift tonight. So UCD find themselves with 8 minutes to go and a goal down. They were 5 down before half time, got it back to 4, went to 5 again. They've got the 3, but they just can't close it any further. They've had a few speculative efforts from distance.
The wing back is open here, number 7
as well. You're right, there's room over here, and it is the number 7, Egan again. He's found a lot of room there, but the door closes quickly. But here he comes. And actually, was he going for goal? They're calling a foot block. This would be an interesting one for the referee. He doesn't look like he's interested. I think that was just rather optimistic shouting.
Foot block. No, the foot block is always interpreted as...
Well, look at it again here. Reid, just explain it for us here. Here he comes. This is Egan. First thing, was he going for goal? I think he was, but definitely. Yeah, the leg came across.
The foot block is to impede the kicking of the football. It's not to actually stop or save the ball. It's to impede the kicking of the ball with your leg. So when it's a foot block, it's actually using your foot to block the act of kicking the ball, not saving it.
And David just going into maybe double check there with his umpires.
Because then goalkeeping would be eradicated overnight if you couldn't actually use your feet to block the ball. So it's to impede the actual kicking of the ball. So that's a good call by the referee, even though sideline call for foot block, it's just not it's incorrect from the sideline.
Absolutely. Well, but I mean, players will do that, as I say. They're just being optimistic. They'll claim all sorts. Usually after there's a black card, every collision after that, they think it has to be another black card. Now this fella Garland, has he got his shooting boots on? He's connected quite well to that one. And in fact, it's gone off the post, I think, and just in. And he has connected beautifully right on time, because time's running out and they needed him to hit the target, and he did. He's got it back to 2 points in it. He struck that really, really well, and that's a good sign of a forward, you have to say, when he's been struggling, and then he manages to get it over the bar. There's another sub for UCD, and that's Cathal Feely from Boylan, Roscommon. Number 19 is in now as well. So the last throw of the dice here.
2.5 minutes or so on the black card as well, I think.
Nicely taken, and a mark claimed as well by Darragh Warnock from Maynooth. He's actually Castleknock man from Dublin, just up the road from here, and he's up against his club teammate as well on the other side. So there'll be a Castleknock winner tonight somewhere or the other. And UCD winning, and they're looking up to see who's there, and I'll tell you who's not there. That's Fiacre Clifford, because he's been taken off. He's right in front of us here. But they've men out there can still do the job, and now they're looking for a goal, and if they get a goal, of course, they'll go a point ahead, and they haven't had that luxury in this game, but they're pressing and see if they can breach this rear guard. And there's one of the subs who came on a few minutes ago, and this has moved smartly to the right. This should be another point. Has he got it? Is it curling in? I think it is, and it has come in, and it's a man who's just come in, Cathal Feely. Brilliant point by the fella from Roscommon, and it's a 1 point game. You see it in there, and yeah, I think it was just inside the post 5 minutes to go.
Definitely, and as we said earlier, UCD have just maybe turned the screw a little bit. They're capitalising on the extra man. There's a high press, it's aggressive. You see here a bit of tussling here in front of us. They're just bringing that level of intensity that they didn't bring in the first half, and it really is all to play for now.
I'm trying to work out now, there were 5 down. I'm not sure if it's 4 in a row or maybe 4 of the last 5, but certainly UCD have got a grip in this game. But that was beautifully judged there and well stolen by Dylan Kavanagh for Maynooth. It looked like UCD had done the hard work and won it, and he was just in the right space to say thanks very much, I'll take that. And that was an important possession to win for Maynooth, because they can just play the ball around here and they can get their hands back on the ball and cool things down, and they've got men back here, and this is McDermott just trying to take the sting out of UCD, because UCD have been looking really dangerous in the last couple of minutes. They've started to find their range from frees and from play, and they're only 1 point in it. Look at the press here on Maynooth's vice-captain Aaron Brazil, and he's lost the ball or been turned over or whatever the case is. A man has gone down, and UCD are on the attack. They're off looking for an equaliser. Tough challenge comes in, and it is a free in, and this is going to be a chance for Garland to equalise. UCD look to take it quickly. Referee says hold up, and this is a chance. Garland got one just a couple of minutes ago from this very spot, and David Goff is writing in his book. He's shown quite a few yellow cards, and there's been 1 black card. What colour is this one going to be? It's another yellow, and it's for the number 2, Kieran McCarrick from Dunshaughlin in Meath. He stays on the field. More important, Kieran Flynn, Davy Garland, the pressure's on him here. He's missed a few, nailed the last one.
Absolutely. Number 29 for Maynooth has just come on there.
Yeah, they took off number 14.
No Gumshield, though. He's been sent off to get
Conlon. Oh, he came on, has been sent back again. Oh, and Garland has taken this one out of his hands. Took the last one off the ground, but he fancies this one out of his hands, just inside the 45, straight in front of the post. They're a point down. The comeback, is it complete? He has put it over the bar, and the comeback is complete. We are in for a nail-biting finish down to the last 3 minutes. That took nerves of steel.
Definitely, and the criticism maybe earlier on that where's Garland, where is he tonight? He's not shown up. He's shown up with a vengeance here now, and he's starting to dominate the game, and this is exactly what you need. You need your star players to step up in the big moments.
And it was a wise decision as well, as it proved, to take it out of his hands. He got lots of elevation on that, and he's levelled it. Now Maynooth were so close to creating history, and that has been let go. That is not a foul, instead it's a free to UCD. Everything's going for them at the minute, or so it seems. Maynooth brought on, who was it, Kieran?
29.
Was it 28? 29 is on for Maynooth. That's Dara O'Brien from Longford Slashers. He's in the play, but it's all about UCD's push for the finishing line. We're level. Dara mentioned the words time and extra. You can put them together yourself, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to tempt fate with that until the added time. UCD looking to press, and it's a free out. Maynooth's defence holding firm, and they're under so much pressure in the last minute or 2 of the game. They're under a lot of pressure. Look, they're even back in their own 21, and look at the press from 2 or 3 UCD players. They're working so hard, but that's too hard. That's a foul. Maynooth just trying to get out, and they're not able to. You can see them looking there, can I kick it? But there's nobody free.
That's probably one disappointing aspect of their forward play, is the fact that there isn't the long option. Like, most teams will run it to the hands.
Well, there was in the first half a few times, and Kerwin got on the end of it, but not this half. And maybe it's the way UCD have set up, I don't know, but can they carry it forward and get a score that way? It's Brazil, the number 4 from Shannon Bridge and Offaly, the vice-captain of the team, carrying it forward. Scores a level, a minute to go. This is Kinsella. They're just popping in around, and UCD now just sitting in and saying, well, we've got level, we're not going to commit. We'll just wait for you to come at us and see what happens.
The big man has gone in, number 29. He's gone into the full forward. So is that
now they kick past it, and that's a great kick pass because Kinsella has it. They're looking to get back in front here. Are they going to get it? Kinsella's looking for it again. And it is the sub who's just come on. O'Brien gives it to Kinsella, but he's just outside that scoring zone. For a moment there, I thought they'd beaten the defensive setup there and maybe got in behind, but they're being nice and patient here, Maynooth. It's always hard when a team's been ahead for so long and then the other team comes right back at them and you have to lift yourself again, but Maynooth are composed and they're doing really, really well, holding possession here. But can they squeeze one more score out of it as we go into added time? If they get one now, it could well be the winner, because I don't think there were too many stoppages in that half. How many passes is that now between the teal jerseys from Maynooth? They're looking for a winner here. Who's going to be a hero? Can they win the Electric Ireland Division 1 League for the first time ever? They're in the final for the first time ever. This is the sub, been forced to come back out. Did well not to overcarry under pressure. And UCD did well not to foul him. And UCD, have they got it? Have they turned it over? Have they won that? Have they got the decision? I think they have. Free out or a sideline ball for UCD, and they have prevented that. Now it all depends on how much time we have got left. David Goff will look at his watch, but he will let UCD carry the ball up the field in the 61st, nearly the 62nd minute of this game. And to be honest, I'm not going to complain, because it's a beautiful night here at the end of November and quite warm even, and we're enjoying a fantastic game, but UCD might prevent extra time, and he's got a free. He's got a free, and Garland will step up and have a go at this one. Nail-biting stuff.
The pressure's on. Like, that was some serious defending by UCD. They just kept their composure, didn't dive in, and we have an advance mark / free. We're on.
That's the angle. Scores are level. 62nd minute. Davy Garland. Oh, he's put it to the right. Oh, he's just put it to the right. The winner was in him there, but he just wasn't able to get him. He just slightly misjudged it. And instead, Maynooth now have a chance. The goalkeeper is ready. The referee says, hold on. There's a sub coming on from Maynooth. Don't think he's going to see too much game time in normal time, but he could well be here for the whole of extra time. And it's the number 18 who is in for Maynooth, and that is Keith Murphy from Rhodes in Offaly. Maynooth on the attack.
What
There's
a ball.
Great ball, smashing ball, but he wasn't able to grab it, and the referee hasn't seen anything untoward. I was looking to see, but no, he wasn't able to get it, and UCD have successfully defended it, and now they are on the attack, and the referee, I'm looking over to see him all the time to see how much time he is allowing, and he's definitely letting it go. He's not looking at his watch all the time. So we're in the 63rd minute of the game, and it is UCD on the attack, looking to try and get a winner. It's tense, it's nail-biting, it's entertaining. We're loving this at the end of November from the Electric Ireland Division 1 League Final, and that one has dropped to the right and wide. Both teams have had chances. Certainly been up at both ends of the pitch. It is end to end. It's great football, and there's been no nonsense tonight as well. Great attitude from the players. Great fast football. A really good advertisement for higher education colleges football on a terrific pitch here in DCU as well. Lots of positives tonight as we go into the 64th minute of the game. Pressure from number 22 for UCD, and that is Luke Brannock from Ballantyre St John's who's into the play, and there's a pretty obvious pull around the middle, but it's so far from goal that Paddy McDermott is just going to leave it instead to Darragh Walsh. And Walsh looking to see where he can go. Will he go backwards? The referee, I'm watching him all the time, he's actually tying his laces now, and he's a great multitask man. He can see all over the place and tie his laces and referee the game too. That's why he's an All-Ireland referee. He's not going to blow anytime soon, so not going by his body language. So there's a chance here for Maynooth, but they're forced to go very wide to the right. Is there a hero in Maynooth to create history for them? That is Walsh again, the Roscommon man, and the glory kick comes in from the right. It might even go over the bar. It has gone over the bar, or has it? There's a little bit of debate about it. The umpires are agreed, UCD are not happy about it, but the referee has awarded it, and there is a point right at the end of this game, 64 minutes in, and surely that is it. And indeed the referee has blown his whistle, a controversial end of the game, but the referee in no doubt, the umpires in no doubt. UCD are shocked, but Maynooth have stolen it right at the end. But I say stolen it, they've deserved it. They give a fantastic performance tonight, and they have created history in their first ever league final, and they've won it in the most dramatic of fashion right at the end. What a finish we've had, and what a night we have had for higher education football. And let's look at it again. Kieran Flynn is with me, and I know he's dying to get in here. What an effort from the right hand side, dropped in there. Well, it's impossible for us to tell from there. I think, was it
number 9,
number 9? It was Dara Warnock from Castleknock in Dublin. He got the score, and there he is getting congratulated out in the middle of the field. What a finish.
I think there's a statue going up in the Maynooth Centre now as we speak. What a composed effort. Like a midfielder, he hasn't really done much attack and play all game, but he just decided he was just maybe outside the scoring zone, but we talked about risk and reward earlier. He just decided to go for it, and what has he done? He's after winning the Electric Ireland Ryan Cup for his team. What a player.
And you see what it means to him there as well, and he got one over on his clubmate from Castleknock, because in the midfield on the other side, Senan Forker, number 8 for UCD from the same club. I did say that Castleknock were going to win tonight, but I didn't know they were going to have a hero like that right at the end. What did you make of the little bit of controversy? Like I say, it's impossible for us to see from here, but the umpire on the left hand side went right away to the other guy to say that one over.
And it's his call. Like, the etiquette always for umpires would be diagonally, if the ball comes from the right hand side of the field, the umpire on the left hand side would have the call. And I think it's probably just a little bit of miscommunication between the two, but the call on the left was done right, and the communication, I think it looked like a good score on my end.
Absolutely. Well, the chairperson Mike Hyland is here, and Kieran, you go and have a word with your chair there, and I'll take that microphone off you, but come back to me in a minute. But we'll let him go and fulfill his duties there with the Higher Education Executive, because they are organising for the presentation of the trophy. So I'll keep talking, and I'll keep talking about Maynooth. And there's a nice touch there in front of us there. If our camera actually comes down a little bit there, you'll see 2 of the players, 1 on either side. 4 from Maynooth is Kieran McCarrick, and number 7 is Cormac Egan from Tullamore, and they came over, they picked each other right at the end there, and a nice little embrace between those 2 lads. They're still friends after a terrific game between the 2 colleges. And what a night for Maynooth University. I was given some of their history earlier on, or I was trying to give some of the history, and I did promise I'd get back Kieran Flynn to talking about student priests, and I was doing my research. And Maynooth, now this is their first ever league final to win. They were last in the Sigerson final in 2012. They've only ever won the Sigerson once, 1976, and they had 13, they're called clerical priests, or clericals, basically student priests, and in 1976. And who did they beat in the final? They beat UCD that night, and it was actually played in Croke Park, and UCD had Colin O'Rourke playing for them as well, now the Meath manager. But they won at that time, and Father Sean Hegarty, or went on to become Father Sean Hegarty. Dan O'Mahony was the captain from Kilmavie and Mayo, a brother of John O'Mahony, the politician and manager of Mayo and Galway, and that was the connection back then. So it was a famous occasion for them. And UCD had won 3 in a row. We're going for a 4 in a row, and after that they won another 3 in a row, so they could have had 7, so they dominated in those days. But it was the priests, and in those days it was SPC, which is St Patrick's College, of course, in
Pontifical University.
Yeah, and Maynooth had only been playing football in the Sigerson 3 or 4 years, and they'd gone right to the top and won it. But that night, now there's no pictures, or well, there's a photograph, but no video around, unfortunately. But this is another night right up there for Maynooth to win the league, and that's why you see those celebrations out there now. It's a great night for the college. They won the freshers last year, so they're obviously doing something fantastic out there.
Yeah, in recent times they've rebranded from the NUI Maynooth. They've become Maynooth University. Just the whole kind of branding of the college, they put a lot more emphasis on the sports. Their campus has been redeveloped, and it's kind of, when investment comes in like that, it's great to see investment in students as well. And they've started to recruit better players from the locality. Like I say, a lot of Kildare players and that in the locality. They're strong players. They're getting good coaches in. We talked about the strength and conditioning, David, earlier on. When you invest in people like that, it will make your college improve on the field. And it's great to see, like, it's not to diminish UCD, they've won so much, but it's great to see Maynooth maybe joining them in the higher ranks.
Absolutely. On YouTube, we're Higher Education GA provided the game absolutely free. I think we were up to about 1,000 devices at one time watching the game. As you said, there's not much else on tonight apart from a wee competition out in the Middle East, and a lot of people have been tuning in watching this, and they can't help be impressed, I imagine, by the performance of both teams tonight. A really, really terrific game, and gets a bad press sometimes, and sometimes you feel they're trying to squeeze out the higher education, but what a game this was tonight, and these lads here at the end of November doing themselves and their colleges and their clubs proud.
Well, look, as we talked earlier before, as the lights are just being dim maybe here for cinematic reasons, but it's one of the best sectors in the GA. It takes in some of the most athletic, youthful players coming in with nearly professional coaching standards, and it's an element of the GA that needs to be championed more and discussed. There's on about changing it at the age grades at inter-county level, maybe to under 19, which would actually possibly be favourable to the third level, allow maybe less crossover of players. But regardless of that, the game we had tonight was just amazing, and it's not the only one. Most of them are great, even in the rain and the snow in January. It's a great sector.
Mike Hyland there is waiting for the okay from us, so he's about to do the presentation. We've a microphone out there to catch that as well. I'll also, while you're on the live chat there, wherever you're watching, let us know your contender for player of the match. We'll come to that afterwards, but Mike, off you go.
Jerome, thanks a million. Just before we get started, I'd just like to thank both teams for a very good game. I'd like to wish both teams all the best for the championship in the coming year, and also the best luck in the exams and all that coming up to Christmas. I'd like to thank David, our referee, his umpires and our linesmen. I'd like to thank DCU for the use of the fantastic field again. It's great to get it. It's a fantastic venue, always, and great for finals. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Electric Ireland, as always providing top class support to us. I'd like to thank Jerome and all his assistants here on the TV, and I'd like to thank Kieran and Tig in Crow Park. And just present the cup to Maynooth man for the first time in a while. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. First of all, I'd like to thank DCU for allowing us to play a great game here today. Secondly, I'd like to thank David Goff and his officials. I think he refed a good, hard-hitting game, and it's great to get these games this side of Christmas. So hopefully this gives us some good stead heading into the new year into Sigerson. I'd like to thank UCD. Sure, whenever we play UCD, we always know it's a very, very tough game, and it was no different today. Lastly, I'd just like to thank our management team of Mick Curley, Gary Jemison, Evan McDermott, Paul Divley, and the man himself, Davey Burke, for literally helping us out wherever we can. Our studies are on the pitch, so thanks very much. It's very much appreciated.
History in the making for Maynooth. They won the league here tonight, and that man, Kieran Dwyer, is the one who made history by lifting the cup. The last man, or the only man from the college to lift the Sigerson for them was way back in 1976, a Dan O'Mahony from Kilmavie and Mayo. But tonight, it is Kieran Dwyer, the number 20, but don't be fooled by that. He started the game. And there you hear the roar going up again. And it's Kieran Dwyer from Sarsfields in Kildare. And Kieran Flynn's with me still, and Kieran, we're going to try and get the man of the moment here for a quick chat, so I might take the headphones off you, but we'll also take contenders for player of the match. But I want to have a word with this man here who got this winning score. I want to know if he meant it, or not that he meant it, but if he thought it was over the bar. I know it's going to be a stupid question. Darragh Warnock has come over. Good man, put those headphones on you there. We were going to go off air there and talk to you later, but you know, when you score a point like that right at the end, we have to get a word with you. So talk me through it, as they say.
Yeah, no, we were just working the ball, a lot of pressure, everyone roaring and shouting, but I found myself with a bit of space, so decided to just swing a leg at it and see what happened, and thankfully went over the bar.
You said it went over the bar.
Did.
Okay, I'll come to that. I thought you'd say that, but a few of the UCD lads weren't too sure now.
Yeah, no, it was tight enough, but curled over on the near post. So
you curled it. You didn't even drive it. You curled it over.
It was a bit of a driver with a bit of a curl.
You sound like you put a lot of thought into it, but you had no time to think.
No, we were being hassled. UCD are a great team, and we knew coming into this that they press very hard. So, like you could see there, they were pressing right up on us. I just found myself with a bit of space drifting in the back, and then I had the time, so I just had to take a breath and swing it over.
Great night for you. I mean, history in the making. I mean, you see the celebrations here. What does that mean to your college?
It means so much. Like, this is my third year now playing with the team, and like there's lads here that are here 3-4 years as well. We had a great year last year with Davey coming in. We kind of put the building blocks, got to a quarter final. We hadn't got that far in a long time. Then coming back into this year, like, we set the target of the league, because we know that the more competitive games the better. It means so much. Like Davey, Gary, Evan, Mick, they're jumping in with the celebrations, the time and effort that they put in. Like, Davey's after getting a nice big job now. Like, he could have easily have just left us, but now he's here 3 times a week, put in the work, works harder than anyone else, and couldn't be more grateful. So, but that's only half it now, so we need to work hard over Christmas and get into the business end of the season.
Yeah, so Davey's got the Roscommon job, but you're a Dub and you're a Maynooth man tonight though. But tell me this, I mean, were you aware of the history side of it? Was that mentioned much in the college and around the college over the last week or so? I mean, or were you thinking, you mentioned there you're going for the league, but usually teams think we'll go for the Sigerson, but you just were definitely going for this. You wanted to create history.
Well, not even the history about the league. We wanted to just attack every game. Like if we lost in the group stage, we would have went 3-4 months without a competitive game. So we were just looking at it as building a team. We want to create this as like a little mini club, so we want to get as many competitive games as possible, if that means winning the league. And in terms of the history, none of us really thought about that. We just thought about what we've done over the last 2 years, and it hasn't been good enough for Maynooth football, so we just kind of wanted to set things right and start the ball rolling again.
Just finally, I mean, it says a lot about colleges football that you had a club mate on the other team tonight. What is it like playing at this level for a team like this? I mean, I think the hashtag is a club away from home, and you're running into guys that you know for your club.
Yeah, no, we're running into guys like the whole time playing TUD. There's a lot of Dubs, a lot of Castleknock men, but it's great to see Sennan out there in the middle of the pitch. I haven't seen him since we got knocked out of the club, but like, fantastic footballer. So it's just itching at the bit to mark him in a college game, because it's not often that you get to play club mates in a competitive game.
But you're really loving this football, and your whole team, you can see us all are loving it.
Yeah, like every single one of us, we've really built like this. I know it's a bit cringy about club away from home, but like, we really have, and we all get on so well. Like, we socialise outside of it, in around the college campus, and like, this meant a lot to us. We wanted to do this today for each other and for the management team.
Were you a wee bit worried there at the end? They came right, you were 5 up, and they levelled and they had a chance.
Yeah, no, the black card kind of hurt us a bit, because they were able to press right up, and like, we kind of panicked, but every team's going to get a purple patch, so we weren't too concerned. Like, looking around there was calm faces. I didn't see any like starlit faces, so I was kind of confident if we got that one chance, like, we were able to work the ball. So in the end, just happy that David blew the whistle at the end.
All right. Are you known for that kind of thing? You say, you know, like, is it you who ends up putting it over the bar, or is that a bit of a one-off from you?
I'd like to think that it's more than a one-off, but I'll just remember that one for now.
All right, brilliant. Thanks a million. Thanks for coming over as well.
Have a good night.
We'll take those off.
Cheers, lads.
Thank you. That is the hero of the moment, and we'll come back to Kieran Flynn there as we're going to try and wrap things up. But great to hear from him there, and what a performance and what a point from him.
Yeah, and it just, like, the remarks just showed the maturity of the young man, and it really is kind of the selling point of third level, that's club away from home. And there is the idea, and we see the score here, like, such composure to, he said it was a bit of a curler as well as a driver, and there is a great class to that, and it's a score he'll remember for the rest of his life. But this idea of the club, that's what we want. We want bona fide third level students engaging in Gaelic games on the campuses, and the Gaelic games campuses, like, they're some of the best facilities in the GA, and it's something that we're very anxious at third level to keep the GA centre point in these universities. And a win like this is only going to make Gaelic football stronger in Maynooth, and it's going to encourage the freshers next year to come and the freshers after that, and it's going to be hopefully a conveyor belt that all these top universities are going to keep turning out the talent. They're going to return to their clubs and hopefully play for their counties. And just there watching it, I'm very prideful of all the effort that's going in third level, and it's such a game, just making me think I can't wait for the Sigerson to start now.
Perfectly summed up, Kieran. Thanks very much for that. And I'm going to sum it up by just finally mentioning one person, and that's somebody who isn't here tonight but is watching online, and that's the beauty of you guys providing this free to watch online. Jenny Duffy. She's on maternity leave, but she's done so much at that university and Gaelic games over the years, and she'll be absolutely thrilled to see that cup there in the hands of those lads wearing green or that nice teal colour we were talking about.
Absolutely. Jenny has been a stalwart in Maynooth University since, I said, back in the NUI Maynooth days, and it's only like, again, the administrators can take so much homage of all the hard work that they put in to get the students out and get the coaches and booking the pitches and all the battles that goes on between the different sports and the different teams, and they all want the good pitch at 7:30 on a Tuesday night, and it's hard to manage that, and it takes great administrators like Jenny to organise these things, and she'll be extremely proud of all the youngsters in Maynooth University tonight. And it's going to be a tough team or a hard team that's going to beat Maynooth in the Sigerson. And I said, I can't wait. Maybe fast forward to the Christmas and just go straight to January.
Indeed. Roll on the Sigerson after what we have seen tonight. My thanks to Kieran Flynn and all of the team for providing this coverage tonight, and for the hosts as well here at DCU. Their pitch has been in terrific condition and we've had a terrific game. So from all of us at DCU in North Dublin, it's goodbye.